Yep, we are literally getting it there. And again, use the spacers, the longer screws, specialty washers. Don't forget the specialty washers. Don't over tighten it. Don't over tighten it anywhere. I'm sorry I'm burning video time here, but I thought this is important that I need to show it across for a few beginners. And yes, you can anyways or anytime download the manual of any Align T-Rex 450 V2, and it will literally give you the entire diagram there. I'm going to leave it for the time being, because what happens is I've got to fix the tail boom in place, but I'm gonna do that later. So I'm going to leave this part open as it is. So this one side of the frame is already finished. I'll go ahead and do the other side of the frame. It's just a repeat process of what I've done on this side. The same thing will be repeated on this side. So it's all fair and square. Now I have not tightened up the screws entirely right now. I have not fixed Loctite. What I would suggest is we need to look at how square the entire frame is. I would suggest you pick up one of these set squares from our old school geometry boxes, fix it and check out. Yeah, it seems to be in place. Yep. This all seems to be fine. Now the next part we actually need to do is let us try to pick up a main shaft and try to pass the main shaft through the bearing blocks. Let me find the main shaft and I'll come back to you. Okay. Here we have a main shaft. We'll just try to put the main shaft through, see if it is moving smoothly. Yes, it is. There's no kind of friction, it's not stopping anywhere. So the frame is quite square right now. We can go ahead and start putting Loctite. What we need to do right now is let's start removing one by one. Let's remove one screw. Place Loctite on it and put it back again. I'm just going to do this to a couple of screws. Yeah, tighten it. Then I would suggest go to the opposite side of the frame and remove that screw. Yeah, it's quite tight. Now go ahead and do the same thing across. Open one, go to the other side, and, you know, the same process what I've just told you right now. And go ahead and do this for the entire frame. And I'll be back. Alright, I have fixed Loctite on all the screws right now. And the main shaft is quite smooth on its own. So it seems to be all square. Now I'm going to take the base plate and I'm going to start fixing this base plate to the bottom of the frame. This is the leading edge, this is the trailing edge. It's quite simple across. just you have a look at the ridges here. Those needs to fit across over here. Let me remove this shaft now. Yep, it's literally in place. Yeah, it literally fits quite perfectly well together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the screws, and of course this is plastic, so I'm not going to use Loctite. I'm going to use a CA, maybe I'm going to use Quick Fix, one of those slow dry or medium dry. I'm going to put a little bit on this and I'm going to tighten it quite neatly. Yes, important thing which I forgot to tell you guys was, even before we started fixing this frame, I would prefer you take one of these sandpapers basically, which is, let's say, is about 1000 CV. It's very smooth, super fine. Just take it and just run this across the frame. Just very, very smoothly. This basically, you know, it takes away those rough edges. Some of those wires might get kept later. I suggest you do it. It's not a large thing, but just run through it once, that's all. Yeah, it's quite smooth enough. So your frame is ready. I'm going to fix the base plate now, and we'll come back later. Okay, I've got the base plate in place now. The only thing that I've not fixed is the rear side of this, the frame, wherein these two, if you remember, or rather if you recall, we had 3 different sizes of screws. The medium one, there were 2 of them. So I'm going to take this right now, and of course I'm not going to tighten them completely, but I'm just going to push them inside and maybe tighten it about 2-3 screws, that's it, and I'm going to keep it aside for the time being. Of course, I'm not going to use any CA right now. Yes, we have the frame ready. It's a good carbon fiber frame, all metal. Seems to be good till now. In fact, quite good. I'm quite impressed with this. And the screws were quite good on here, except for the head which I felt some of the screws were not good, but here the frame screws are perfectly well. In fact, they don't seem to strip anywhere. They're quite fine. I've tightened them at quite a decent force, and they're taking that force. It's a decent frame for the kind of money. Alright, next we'll be installing the tail boom holder. Okay, for the time being I'm going to keep the battery tray holder for the time being. I'm going to keep it open because it will be easy for me to fit the motor at a later stage. You can start fixing up the landing gear if you want to. Yeah, maybe you can do that. We can fix the landing gear, and we can fix the tail boom holder, and next let's start fixing the tail drive and the electronics later. Alright. Hi guys, in this segment we are going to fix the landing gears. I've taken the landing skids now. We'll try to fix it on the frame. Now if you look at it, the landing gears can be fixed in 2 ways. One is this way, whereas the landing gears are slanting on the back side. But the right way is to fix in this fashion, wherein the landing gears are slightly tilted towards the front. Yep, this is how it should be. I hope you can see that. Alright, now this unit comes across with 4 silver screws. These screws go across over here, and in turn these go here. So it's pretty easy, it's pretty darn easy. So it should not be a major issue for you guys to fix it. I'll go ahead and fix it, and we'll be back. Yes, I have already gone ahead and fixed the landing gears on the frame. But the point I have to note and tell you guys is these screws, they're not really good. I literally had to use one of these pliers to in fact turn some of these screws to get the skids fixed inside the frame. So I would really suggest is go and pick up maybe one of those local small screws which you get across in the hardware store, and to try to fix them across over here, because it was very easy for me to strip the screws. Yeah, some of them are good. For example, this is good, but this is stripped. However, now we have the landing skids. Now let's go ahead and fix the pipes. Now the pipes, you've got a leading edge, you've got trailing edge. The leading edge is slightly bent, so start putting across from here. It's a bit of a tight fit. I'm going to use a cloth to push. Now there are two ways. Basically, many people would like to put skids or the skid nuts outside. That is outside the skids, these two nuts that you get across, where in fact you get 4 of them. But what I would suggest is fix them here inside, so that it doesn't come off during flight, because my experience has been it usually comes off. After a couple of flights you see these nuts are moved, but once you fix between these two, it will not usually come out, or rather it will never come out unless until you break. So we have the nuts in place. Yeah, we're getting that. Push this almost close to the corner. I will not burn video time of course over here right now. I will do this and I'll come back to you guys. Yes, we have the skids in place now. It was a bit of a challenge for me to put in, but it seems to be all fine now. They're all tight, very snug fit. It will not come out. Seems to be quite good. So this ends the framing part of the Hilo 450. Now we'll start fixing up the tail boom holders, the tail shaft, the entire tail assembly, and of course the main gear assembly, the motor mounts, electronics, etc. So that is it.